we're live?
Yep.
We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. And we are streaming live. This is going to be, we're going to talk about the Orville, the newest episode.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's, I think, the 5th episode of season 1.
Yes.
Titled Priya. Mm-hmm. And this is like a character's name, guest star. Who was that?
Do you want me to look it up? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, she looked very familiar. It seems like it wasn't freaking, for some reason I was wanting to say the woman that played Ally McBeal.
That was not Callista Flockhart.
Okay, because I was going to say she seemed a little young to be Callista Flockhart.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, she looked like 90s Callista Flockhart. But anyway, we are in the process right now of, like, trying to get our loyalty points, our legacy tokens set up.
Oh, it was Charlize Theron. That's who it was.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't even know. I know the name, but I don't know who that is.
She's been in a lot of stuff. She's really pretty.
I don't know much about her. Was she in Charlie's Angels?
No.
Okay, never mind.
That's Cameron Diaz.
Okay.
They're both blonde and work in Hollywood.
Sure. Okay, so apparently our loyalty points are going to take a little bit to get up here. So...
Okay, she was in the latest Mad Max movie, Atomic Blonde. She's been in the Fast and Furious.
Okay, the new Mad Max.
She was the Evil Queen in Snow White and the Huntsman. She was in the Aeon Flex movie. She was in...
Not helping me.
Hancock. She was like... Did you watch Hancock?
Yes.
She was his counterpart.
So she's basically one of those people that...
She's been in a lot of movies, but half of them you've not seen.
Well, either that or whenever I did see her in those movies, she doesn't stand out.
Oh, she was in your most favorite movie of all.
What?
The Cider House Rules.
I freaking hate that movie. Cartoon and Simply Sharon are on. Welcome, everyone. Our legacy tokens do not work right now. Apparently there is a... Oh.
Apparently Lonnie don't know what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, I do. Because I'm so used to streaming on the PlayStation that I forgot that we can just use the default chat.
Okay, yeah.
So it's on now. If anybody wants to give it a go, the chat commands are down at the bottom of the screen. But we need to talk about the Orville.
Yeah, considering that's what we're doing as a review.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be a lot better than our last review.
This, like right before we watched this episode, now, like we literally just finished. Why did Sharon lose all of her legacy tokens?
Remember, she was half asleep the other night, and she said she couldn't go to bed until she lost all her tokens. And she literally bet them all away and lost them. So that's why.
Anyway, back to the Orville.
Back to what we was talking about.
I actually, right before we watched the episode, we've been done watching it for, 20 minutes? And, but right before we started it, I hopped on because, you can look at all the headlines. You just type in the Orville in the name of the episode, and it'll give you, like, basically the review headlines. And basically they said on the strength of a guest star and the fact that a lot of the crew has time to be, they've kind of meshed well now, that the show is, in the critics' eyes, starting to come into its own.
And I could totally see that watching this episode. Yeah, definitely.
Now, these episodes can be watched by themselves. Hello.
Alex is on.
Alex?
Even though he called you Ronnie instead of Lonnie.
It happens.
It happens, though, I'm sure.
I've been called Ronnie, Bonnie. I was actually...
Lonnie, sorry. It's okay.
You know what? what bothered me, I told you the story about when I was a kid and my mom signed me up for like one of the local, it was like the Fox 36 Kids Club that you could
Yes.
sign up for out of Atlanta. And you had to actually call in and leave a recording with your name, address, and everything, and birthday. And instead of Lonnie Ray Henderson, and Ray is spelled Ray, they sent me a card that said Bonnie Ray spelled Rae Anderson.
That's horrible.
And I was like,
oh my god.
really? So like I kept it, but I didn't carry it with me like I was planning. So
Dorsey's on.
What's up?
Hello, one of our local people.
Yeah, well, we're actually getting people tonight. Yay. And I will say that if all goes according to plan and we're kind of on pace to do this, as soon as we finish the Orville review, which will probably take another 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to jump right into Skyrim.
That's whatever you
Okay,
want,
so we're going to, as soon as we finish the Orville, we're going to be doing Skyrim. So if y'all ain't doing anything, stay tuned. It's going to be a little hour-long Saturday night stream. But this episode was really good. I'll give it that. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see the cast come together, like a lot of the main critic reviews are saying. We're starting to see the special effects in the antimatter, the little piloting sequence was amazing. I thought that was beautiful. There was actually, they find this lady, her name is Priya, at the very beginning of the episode. She's on like a mining ship that has taken on damage and it's plummeting into a sun. And they take her on board, you know, they save her life, which the rescue sequence was amazing in itself. Mm-hmm. So they rescue her and she ends up sleeping with the captain. And of course, Ed's the captain, his ex-wife, who is his first officer, is not really down with this at all, which is kind of funny. And you know, there's this whole big argument about, you know, whether it's professional or if there's like personal, you know, feelings coming into play, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so, come to find out, this woman is actually a time traveler from like 500 years in the future, where the Orville was supposed to be destroyed in an antimatter storm in space, which she piloted them out of. You know, they're like, oh, you know, all hope is lost. And she's like, oh, I can get us out of here. And so she pilots them out of there. You know, the ship is slightly damaged, but not much. And come to find out, she is actually like a trophy hunter. She goes back in time to points of time where a ship is destroyed. So the Orville was supposed to be destroyed in that antimatter storm. And she goes back in time to that point. She saves the ship. She knocks out communication to where everybody thinks the ship has been destroyed. And then she pilots the ship to a wormhole, which takes the ship 500 years into the future. Then she sells the ship to like an alien race and lets the crew on board live their lives wherever they please 500 years in the future. And so, of course, like, you know, if it were me...
Of course.
I mean, think about it. A lot of the ship crew have their families with them. Maybe not everybody.
Not everybody, but some of them do.
I don't consider it, because think about it. I think this episode is going to end up playing really big into the coming episodes, because the Orville was supposed to be destroyed this episode. It wasn't, and now there's going to be a lot of stuff that's probably going to go wrong for them, because the Orville was not supposed to be here from this point on.
It could be, okay, that, or, you know, they might play a more important role somewhere else, and if they hadn't have been saved, they wouldn't have been there to play that important role. Negative Nancy.
I'm curious, though, at the end of this episode, Priya, spoiler alert, Priya vanishes because they destroy the wormhole, which in turn prevented her from coming back in time. Which, that's kind of a weird paradox because they had to get to that point to destroy the wormhole.
I don't know, honey. It's time travel. That's why you should never do time travel in a show. I'm just saying, there's too many variants.
Hey, Rick and Morty creators said that they would never open that can of worms.
For that reason.
Because at that point, you can write yourself out of anything. And anytime somebody dies or something, time travel can fix it. Hell, Family Guy did it.
Right. Well, and for that matter, does that mean the robot dude's still alive then? Because he died.
The robot dude was alive.
No, I didn't. Did I miss that part?
Yes, you wasn't paying attention.
I didn't.
Okay, so the robot.
I'll be honest. For me, this episode was kind of just.
Oh my God, I loved it.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as good as the others.
There was
not as good as the others.
There was a part where Priya put this like little rectangle, some kind of like really advanced machine into their navigation computers, and it made the ship go towards that wormhole. Well, the robot tried to interface with it. When it did, it electrocuted him, knocked him back against a wall, and basically killed him. But little did they know that when that happened, he had actually transferred his programming into the ship's computers.
Oh, okay.
And he sent the captain a message on the view screen at like the perfect moment that turned the tide and helped them basically overcome, escape the wormhole and all that good stuff. And then at the very end of the episode, he asked, he's like, is my body okay? And they're like, well, it's a little charred, but yeah. Because he was talking to him over the thing. But you really didn't care for this episode?
No, I really didn't.
Like,
it's kind of boring.
This episode, I think, is really... I think when you look back on it, this episode's probably going to be like one of the top 3 of the season.
Oh, that's ridiculous. No.
And it's... I think this episode is also going to affect the rest of the series more than any other has.
I mean, it might, but it was still boring as shit. It was. It was so boring. Why are you looking at me like that? This is a very old, theme that they were using. Time travel. And the woman, it was just...
Oh, and I'll go ahead and say...
A repeated storyline is what it was. They just took it... I mean, how many other Star Trek episodes were something similar to this? Because it was...
Well, it did. I mean, there's only so many times where you can't... everything can't be original. No,
not everything can be original. Obviously... Nothing in Hollywood's original.
But look at this is...
It was just boring to me.
Okay, here's some plot point, at least a plot point that's going to come up later. She shows up, she can teleport. She disappears, but the captain has her teleporting machine. Number one, I'm not even going to try to figure out why that machine didn't disappear with her. But he still has it. Number one, he says he's going to keep it a secret because he doesn't want to change the future by showing the teleportation device.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, that's the big difference between Star Trek and the Orville, is the Orville can't beam down to a ship, a planet. Mm-hmm. They actually have to get into a little cargo ship.
And go to those places.
The shuttle.
Yes.
And go to the planet. And that has actually been a very nice plot point.
It has been.
But... the captain now has this little teleportation device. There is going to be a point, 5 or 6 episodes into the future, where you think he's dead, the cargo or the shuttle has been destroyed, and he's going to teleport back up to the ship.
Yep.
And you're going to think he's dead. Just wait. It might not be next episode because people are going to be looking for it, but eventually people will forget about that freaking thing. And he will teleport.
And I'm not saying that's not going to be a plot. That doesn't change the fact that this episode was boring.
It will end up changing the future because other people are going to get a hold of this device and they're going to reverse engineer it, and all the ships are going to be outfitted with teleportation devices, and then you're not... Which, wouldn't it be weird if the teleportation device coming back is actually how humanity discovers teleportation. It's like some kind of weird...
You're reading too much into it.
Some kind of a paradox there. No.
It's just...
I got fan theories galore.
I noticed.
I'm having a good time with this.
I'm glad you were.
Fan theories galore. Does anybody have any thoughts? Remember... Really?
Yeah.
You're a Beowulf. What the crap, man.
What about it?
Want.
No. Stop. Get on my nerves.
Oh.
Anyway.
We're going to be looking back at this.
On your kiss in the butt of this episode that I thought was boring.
I like it because there's so many plot points.
There is, and those were cool, but I still would only give this episode like a 7.
I have discovered nothing, Beowulf. You were gold, sir. I have discovered.
He just couldn't believe that you gave Sharon, legacy tokens. That's all. That's all.
Like 300.
He would have never done that for me,
No, probably not. I'm a real stickler when it comes to formal rules and whatnot.
And then I'm the type that just don't give a shit. It don't bother me.
So I've discovered through the Orville, Rick and Morty, and because I'm normally, I believe the show is good.
It is. It's a really good show.
It's amazing.
I do look forward to watching it. Even with this being a boring episode to me anyway, I still gave it a 7.
Oh, this one is, I'm giving it a 9. And here's the thing. I would watch TV shows and I would just mindlessly watch. And I wouldn't ever really think about the finer points. I wouldn't think about those plot details. I wouldn't look at the teleportation device and think, oh, that's going to pop up later. I was more surprised. And now, since we've been reviewing the Orville, we've been reviewing Game of Thrones, we've been reviewing Rick and Morty, stuff like that, I've actually been really paying attention to the fine details. Mm-hmm. And, for discussion's sake.
Right.
And I'm seeing a lot more than I would have a year ago if we'd have watched this.
That's true. I can relate to that.
And, I mean, sometimes that's really cool.
Unless it's something I'm really into, and then I do that anyway.
Yeah. And I will say that right now, the Orville is really in my top 5 favorite TV shows. Like on TV right now. Like number 1... it's really difficult for me to take a pick between The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones.
Well, that's easy for me because I'm not into Game of Thrones as much. I
would say.
I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just whatever.
I'll say probably The Walking Dead. The only way the Game of Thrones would be is because there's so fewer episodes.
Yeah.
Whereas we have a lot more of The Walking Dead. Walking Dead's first, Game of Thrones second. Rick and Morty 3rd. The Orville's 4th. Mm-hmm. Are we missing something else?
I don't know.
That's really all we watch.
I mean...
I haven't finished it yet, but Curb Your Enthusiasm is probably number 5.
I've been watching Orange is the New Black today. I'm almost done with the last... I got like 4 more episodes of the newest season.
You're really plowing through it then.
Yes.
But, anyway, that's, I guess there really ain't too much more that we could cover.
We are still waiting on Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah. But I don't really, do you count?
What do you mean, do you count what?
Do you count Netflix and streaming shows in the same list as, because...
Why not?
Number 1, streaming. Number 2,
so what?
You don't have to wait weekly. You just binge watch them all the way through.
Not everybody does that. Not everybody's got the time to do that.
True. if I could change anything, see, here's Netflix's problem. If I was to take over Netflix today, think about it. In October, let's say somebody doesn't want Netflix, but they're like, God, I got to watch Stranger Things. In middle October, they can actually. I'll be right back.
Lord.
There. I fixed that obnoxious noise. Okay. If somebody wants to watch Netflix or Stranger Things, they can get on Netflix 1 month. Okay? First couple of days, I'm going to hit Stranger Things. For the week after that, I'm going to watch Orange is the New Black. The next week, we're going to watch House of Cards. And then I'm going to catch up on all these other episodes that I not missed in that last week. You're done. You have no more reason to watch Netflix. Cancel.
There are probably some people that do that. 9 times out of 10, they're going to get, well, no, let me just keep this because there's this on here. Oh, I haven't seen this in a long time. Let me watch this. Let me start this show over. Let me watch this movie. You know what? This is a hell of a lot cheaper than cable. Let me just cut off my damn cable like we did.
Well, here's what I would do. If I was the owner of Netflix and it's come time for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You know what? Stranger Things first episode is going to be put out on October 1st. The next one, 7 days later, October 8th. 15th, 22nd.
Well, obviously this is working for them and they're making lots of money. So what is it?
It is, but I think they could be more successful.
We mean more successful.
What is this report I'm hearing that Netflix financed Star Trek Discovery but is not able to air it on their service?
That don't make no sense to me. I saw that.
And on top of that, Netflix is increasing their price by $1.
$2.
Or $2, yeah.
Big freaking deal. I don't know why people are so upset about $2 fucking dollars. It's still a cheap service. I mean, seriously, we pay $11.99 a month for 4 screens. It's going up to $13.99 a month. What the hell? It's still a damn lot cheaper than cable.
Sharon says my brother and I meet up weekly to watch 1 or 2 episodes at a time of shows we obsess over. Game of Thrones, Orange is the New Black. We keep Netflix and Amazon Prime because we haven't had cable ever. Haven't had it in 10 years. It's still cheaper than cable. Yeah, we have.
Like I said, no, not everybody been like when I first started watching Orange is the New Black. You know, I was still at home with Mom and my sister, and she's like, "You gotta watch this." I said, "Okay." So she rewatched the first episode with me, and I'm like, "I gotta go to bed. You can't watch the next one tomorrow." And she was like, "Really? You're gonna make me wait?" I said, "Yeah, wait." And so every night after Joseph went to bed,
that's like what we did with The Office. You know? Every night with dinner, unless we have an Orville episode or something. Every night with dinner, we watch an episode of The Office. And over the last month or two, we're already like almost through season 4.
Yeah.
And like we're almost halfway through the actual whole series.
Yeah.
And it's been great. And it still gives you that sense of having to wait because, what was it, the season 2 finale or season 1 finale where Jim like finally kissed Pam and then it was like over. It was like, crap, we have to wait till tomorrow night.
Just tomorrow night.
But we're going to wait. Like some of these shows I could not imagine having to wait a summer. Binge watch shows on her own.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I watched 4 episodes of Orange is the New Black today.
I can't imagine Neo watching TV. He seems like he enjoys TV about as much as I do. Like, I literally enjoy half a dozen shows. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, crap, most of what we watch, we review on the channel.
That's why I'm watching Orange is the New Black while you're at work.
And are we going to review Stranger Things by the episode? Sounds
probably,
like a good excuse.
Probably.
All right. Well, it is 9:30.
I was talking to Sarah earlier. She's wanting to do a American Horror Story because it's on Netflix now, the newest season.
The
but
election?
I told her no, the one that just ended.
The previous season.
Not Hotel, but the one after that.
Roanoke.
Yes.
Okay, well, there's another one already airing right now.
Yeah, it's called We Don't Have Cable, Honey. Again, Sarah and I were talking about doing it. Not me, you, and Sarah.
Oh,
We were
I
talking about
like
doing that.
American Horror Story.
You got enough on your plate. We'll probably do it while you're
Who
at work.
cares?
We'll probably do it while you're at work. Don't look like that.
Y'all are never off together when I'm at work.
Yeah, we are. Every Saturday and Sunday, every other weekend.
Okay, I guess I need to let y'all do y'all's thing.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Neo got into cooking shows. For some reason, I can't imagine that.
No, I could totally see that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, it is a little bit past 9:30. I gave it a 9. Amber gave it a 7, and then we spent half the review
talking about everything else.
Talking
like
about
we
everything else. That always happens.
Every review.
But this was good. Time travel, which could end up being the downfall of the whole series. But I mean, it can.
It could be.
It can.
But we'll see.
But it's still a really good series. I love Seth MacFarlane's brand. This episode was actually had more humor.
It did. Oh my God! When he took that guy's leg.
Yeah, the robot is trying to learn human humor, and so they're like talking about playing practical jokes on each other. And while the dude is asleep, their navigator is asleep. The robot takes his leg. And so he's like hopping through there. And even later in the episode, they have it to where you can regrow your limbs. And he comes through with like a half-grown leg. Think Deadpool, the Deadpool movie, when he lost his hand and he had the little baby hand. That's basically what it looked like. That's
what I was thinking of, that and like Scary Movie when they were at
the strong hand.
Yeah, this is my good hand.
Oh, God. That's some funny stuff. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming on. Stick around. We're going to end this stream, and then we're going to hop directly into Skyrim. So if you ain't got nothing going on this Saturday night, we're going to do probably an hour and 15 minute Skyrim stream. I almost said Skyrim. That's kind of...
Bye, y'all.
Oh, yep. We'll,
see you in a minute.
Log out. We'll be back on in literally 5 minutes or less. So everybody, see you at Skyrim. If not, you are the enemy. Oh, maybe not. Not quite. You're all our friends.